I'll be honest, there aren't many phones that get me out of my chair and jumping around like an absolute lunatic, but the Honor Magic 6 Pro is one of them. So here it is, Honor's brand spanking new flagship phone for 2024, and I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know. Now, I've partnered with Honor for this video, so it's not a full review, but I am very grateful they sent this out a couple of weeks ahead of the launch, so I've had plenty of time to use and test it, because there's a lot to talk about here with this refreshed design. We've got a new camera system, including an incredible 180 megapixel zoom lens. We have the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, of course. We get a brighter and faster screen, also potentially the longest battery life I've ever seen on a phone, plus some very nifty new AI features with the latest Magic OS 8 software. And did I mention the camera? Look at that little face. He's like something out of Pixar. But also just look at how crisp these shots are of a moving target. Most phones would struggle to keep this in focus and not be a blurry mess. But before we dive into this camera, let's talk about this design. And as I'm now recording this, I'm realizing that it's the exact same color as my jumper. That wasn't planned. It does actually kind of suit it. Honor calls it the Magic Capsule, not a dynamic island. Anyway, they've moved their camera island with the selfie and the IR sensor, which gives you that 3D face unlocking, to the top middle of the screen from the corner. And like a certain fruit-based rival, in a handful of apps, including YouTube and Spotify, minimizing it pops up a little icon of the app or video or music you're playing. We do still have these curved edges to the screen, which makes it look and feel very premium, and it is a very comfortable phone to hold, although I know not everyone loves a curved display, and there's a bit of a trend towards flat screens at the moment. Coming from the Magic 5 Pro, and you can see the little side-by-side here. Again, look at that, it goes with my jumper. And regardless of which design you prefer, I can tell you this is a whole lot easier to hold. It's a lot less slippery than the Magic 5 Pro, but you can definitely see the design inspiration and the sort of evolution here. But which do you think looks better, the 5 Pro or the 6 Pro? But what really makes this stand out is this camera module, which I would call a square-cle, maybe? But don't tell me it's inspired from a cushion-shaped watch or even a Baroque diamond. They've also made this screen tougher, and I've just realized that a double press will take a screenshot. There you go. It's using a new nano crystal shield, which I'm told is 30% tougher than the previous gen, which we had on the Magic 5 Pro, and is a lot more drop resistant, which is very nice. It's still IP68 water and dust resistant, so it will survive a dunk in the pool or if you drop it down the toilet for some reason. No headphone jack or micro SD card support, although we do get some terrific sounding stereo speakers. Okay, check this out. iPhone 15 Pro Max, Galaxy S24 Ultra, Magic 5 Pro, and the new Magic 6 Pro. And if I drop the brightness down, you can see that strobing on the screen. This is the pulse width modulation, or the PWM, and the higher the frequency, the less eye strain you get looking at the screen, particularly at lower brightnesses. So if you're like me and you like to doom scroll before bed, then this is the phone for you. Your eyes will thank you later. Probably. It's also brighter. The specs say this will peak at a whopping 3,625 nits, a good deal brighter than even the S24 Ultra, although that may be a peak HDR brightness on a small area of the screen, like a super bright highlight, because in terms of full screen brightness outdoor and playing an HDR video, I recorded a little over 1,800 nits. Honor have also added Dolby Vision HDR support this year. We didn't get it last year. In addition to HDR10+, we get a 1 to 120 Hz dynamic refresh rate, and also a dynamic Full HD Plus resolution. So no Quad HD option here, but still, whatever you're watching, playing, or scrolling through, this is a gorgeous screen. Now, powering everything, we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, along with 12 gigs of RAM, and in my model, 512 gigs of storage. And if I fire up Geekbench 6, we've got the Magic 5 Pro versus the 6 Pro, and we're looking at about a 10% boost in single core, and about 33%, a good third higher in multi-core. And actually, if I then bring in, it's a little bit difficult here, bring in the Galaxy S24 Ultra, you can actually see, despite this being a custom for Galaxy version of the chip, the performance is actually pretty similar. But wait, there's more, because if I then show you the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme stress test results, that is a big step up on the new Magic 6 Pro, both in the high and the low score. And actually, the 6 Pro beats the S24 Ultra, not by a significant amount, but it is a higher score across the board Good job, Honor. And actually it gets better because if I scroll down and show you the battery, it used 11% on the Samsung versus 8% on the 6 Pro, and actually 9% on the 5 Pro. Needless to say though, this is a blazing fast phone and it will run any app or game you throw at it flawlessly. Including War Thunder here, you can see I'm maxing out that 120 FPS, although like any phone, turning on ray tracing does knock down that performance. But to be honest, phones have been fast enough for years. What's actually more exciting for me is the battery, because this has the biggest battery, as far as I know, of any non-gaming flagship phone. We've got a 5600 mAh cell in here compared to 5100 last year, so a 10% bump in the battery size, and it's using their new second generation silicon carbon battery design. And this chemical structure of the battery is designed to give you maximum efficiency and density from the battery while still being able to, cram it in a phone. And you'll also notice this E1 chip in the specs of the phone. And this is actually a dedicated chip that handles the voltage of the battery so it can actually be more power efficient. All very boring and technical. The point is the battery on this thing is nuts. And after 10 hours of non-stop YouTube, the Magic 5 Pro is down to 57%, the S24 Ultra is on 60 versus 69% on the 6 Pro. That is a massive win. As I say, I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, and I can tell you that it's the first time I've had a phone where I've been ending up at the end of the day, like around 11 p.m.-ish, with 40% of my battery left. My S24 Ultra is usually around 35, my iPhone 15 Pro Max sort of 33, 34, pretty similar. This is shaping up to be the longest lasting phone I've ever tested. I am accumulating all my flagship phones of the year so far, and very soon I'll have my full battery comparison video. So make sure you have hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. But I reckon I've saved the best till last. Let's talk about this camera. And as you can see, we have 3 lenses, with the primary 50 megapixel super dynamic Falcon camera H9000, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it is a massive upgrade over last year with a bigger sensor. It's now 1/1.3 inches. It also gives us an industry first customized HDR sensor, so we get much better dynamic range. We get faster focus speeds using a new much smaller actuator in the camera itself. And if that wasn't enough, we also have the industry's largest variable aperture. So this main lens can go from f1.4 to f2, which lets it capture 22% more light than competing 1-inch f1.9 sensors. And for portraits specifically, it will switch to their f1.4 to give you better low light and that dreamy, shallower depth of field. We also get a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera. Not too much has changed there, but it still does a good job. But then we also have this brand new 180 megapixel periscope telephoto, which gives us a 2.5 times optical zoom with a 5 to 10 times in sensor zoom and up to a 100 times super resolution zoom. What's really interesting here though is this is a 1/1.49 inch sensor. It's the industry's biggest telephoto sensor and also just f2.6. Which gives us around 4 times more light intake than both the S24 Ultra and the iPhone's 5 times optical. Now, to be fair, this is a 2.5 rather than a 5 times optical zoom, but I think Honor have made a really smart choice with this because for me, 2.5 times is that perfect level of zoom, especially for portraits. And because it is such a high resolution, instead of pixel binning, they can crop into that sensor and you're still getting a great quality 5 times, 10 times and beyond zoom. I also noticed that on the Magic 5 Pro, if you're filming at 4K 60, it would cut you off at 15 minutes. That limit has now gone. Video itself hasn't changed significantly, but they are using new smarter algorithms and harnessing some of the AI features of that 8 Gen 3 chip to improve the video. But I reckon the best bit, or at least the most fun bit, is Honor's AI Motion Sensing 2.0. It's been significantly improved this year with 3,000 more data samples used to actually train the algorithm, and it's optimized for more than 10 different scenes and sports. And all you do is tap on this little chap at the bottom left, it will turn on motion sensing capture, and at the top left, you can turn on auto capture mode so you don't have to think about it, and then when the camera detects movement, it will automatically take a photo and then give you the best shot. And the magic, if you will, here is that the algorithm and the shutter speed and the camera hardware itself all work together to give you some of the sharpest, most crisp action shots you've ever seen. To be fair, it doesn't always capture exactly what you'd want. Sometimes it's shown me the in-between action shots. It also doesn't seem to want to pick up skateboarding. I even dragged my wife outside to go back and forth. I could still obviously take a manual photo, but Honor tells me that skateboarding doesn't activate the AI motion sensing algorithm. It hasn't been trained on it, or at least not yet. But here's a list of what is currently supported, and hopefully we'll see even more in the future. Although, to give you an idea, here are some examples Honor have taken of fencing, and whether you're taking pictures while playing a sport, or of your fast-moving pets or your kids, having minimal shutter lag and being able to take fast, sharp photos of moving targets is a great feature. So it's a genuinely very impressive camera system, and I do really enjoy having a play around with motion sensing capture. My only criticisms, I suppose, are that some of the shots do appear a bit oversaturated, a little bit too vivid, and I have also had a couple of examples of the portrait mode not quite doing its job. You can see here it's picked up this guy in the background. There's a couple of examples of that. Perhaps a little bit of work to do there, although again, this is a pre-release phone, and actually there have been a couple of significant updates while I've been testing it, so we might see more at launch. In fact, we will see more at launch because Honor are offering a bunch of new AI features. One of them being, if I go into a video, this one's actually already been done, you can see AI Instant Movie there, and then give you a cool highlight edit of your video. That is a new feature for the 6 Pro. Magic OS 8, the software this phone is running, will include their first intent-based UI Magic Portal. Well, it's just one aspect of the new AI features on the phone, and you can take text or images, locations, slide it to the edge of the screen, and then you'll get a bunch of contextual app options. So you could open a photo in eBay to search for it, or if you've taken a picture of the helicopter with the zoom lens, you can drag it over to Google for an image search, or take an address straight over to Google Maps, or grab a bunch of text and add it to your notes. They're all just little time-saving, helpful tools. And also with Magic OS and Honor Share, you'll actually be able to use your phone as a webcam with their laptops and transfer files. And I actually had a quick demo of this at the Snapdragon Summit in November. But it is good to see Honor embracing AI and making the phone just feel smarter, and also give you new ways of actually interacting with the phone. And with more features being added at launch, which I can't wait to show you, I am excited to see what Honor's human-centric, as they call it, AI and software will offer. So watch this space. The big question though is how much? And right now, as I'm filming, I actually don't know. They haven't told me. They're saving that little nugget of very important information for their launch event. But for now, what do you make of the Honor Magic 6 Pro? Would you be tempted to upgrade to this? Do you like the design? Let me know what you make of this in the comments below. I'll also leave a link in the description if you want to check this out. And if you did enjoy this video, a cheeky little like and subscribe would be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.